Hey guys, I'm Miles Brandman, and this is the 2019 Hyundai Veloster N. And I'm really excited about this one because, well, I'm a hot hatchback guy. I had an 07 Golf GTI that I love to death, and I've been kind of sort of toying with the idea of maybe getting another one. Not in the very soon-to-be future, but maybe when this thing gets a little used, I might get one of these. The Veloster is the first N performance model to hit the US, and so that's a big deal. Hyundai only recently introduced its N performance brand, which is akin to BMW's M or Mercedes AMG, and in fact Hyundai borrowed a few people from M Performance to come over to N and kind of kickstart the program, and this is the US's first taste of that. They used the second generation Veloster Turbo R-Spec as its platform and then built it up, and they came up with some unique styling things, some unique performance bits, and we've had a chance here at Thunderhill Raceway in California to take it out on the track. I have some drive impressions that are going to come in another video, but this one I just want to do a walk around, talk about the car and why it's perhaps Hyundai's best vehicle ever. Certainly the most exciting vehicle out of Hyundai, and I'm including the Tiburon and the Genesis Coupe. So let's take a look. Here at the front, Hyundai made a new front fascia for the N performance model. It's got this big black mesh grille and these red accents here at the front, and then on the side this big front, so it's not that big, but it's a front splitter that is going to add some downforce along with that double-decker rear spoiler. LED daytime running lights and headlights, and then here you can see this pass-through. This is an air channel that's going to help cool those front brakes. Those are the aerodynamic features up front. At the side, we can see these 19-inch wheels wrapped in Pirelli P Zero tires. Now, you can get two different wheel and tire options with the Veloster. As standard, it comes with 18-inch wheels wrapped in Michelin Pilot Super Sport tires. Excellent tires, but this one is upgraded to the 19 inches and Pirelli P Zeros. Up front, we can see 13-inch rotors clamped down by some upgraded brake calipers. Those are from within Hyundai's vehicle lineup. They're pulled from the Kia Optima, actually, and then fine-tuned a little bit for this. It's single piston sliding front caliper. It's not a Brembo brake package, and some people may be like, well, then it's just not going to stop as well as the other hot hatchbacks. That's not true, because a lot of it is calibration for brake feel and fade resistance and all those kind of things, and what we saw on the track so far has been very good. Also, what you're hearing behind me is the autocross course, and that's another good test bed for this model that we'll do a bit later. The brakes on the track, I'll give you all the impressions on those, but I will say that I think they're up to snuff. And in the back, we have 11.8-inch rotors, again, single piston sliding calipers, and you can get an accessory sport brake pad that's going to squeal a little bit, so you may not want it for street driving, but it is going to have less resistance, or it can have more resistance to fading. On the driver's side, we see the big single door, and on the passenger side, we're going to have two doors. That three-door configuration is unique to the Veloster, and it's very much a signature trait of the car. They kept it for the second generation. I'm glad they did. I didn't like it at first, but now I really get it, because the driver door, it's a nice big door, so it's easy access, but on the passenger side, you don't have to clamber over the front seats to get to the back. You open up that second door, and it's easy access. Maybe if you've got a kid, it's going to be able to put your car seat in there. If you don't have a kid, congratulations, you just have a second door for your buddies to climb back. As we go to the back here, we see the double-decker rear spoiler. The thing looks cool, and it does add real downforce. They also integrated a light back here, looks pretty cool. LED tail lights that have this signature here that's pretty neat. It looks like T's into the tail lights, and badging, and then down below, more of that red accents, and this integrated diffuser and two large oval exhaust ports, and the sound coming from the exhaust system is pretty darn cool. Let's look at the passenger door setup just while we're over here. You can see that it's not a tiny rear door, it's small, and if you're going to climb in the back, it's going to be kind of a tight squeeze if you're a larger individual. And you'll probably ask your mate to scoot his chair up a bit so you're not crunched, but the real issue is headroom more than anything else. But the door is wide enough to climb in, so it's not just a styling thing. This really is functional. And back here, you've got cup holders and a little tray for your stuff. There's no USB plug, so you're going to beg your friends up front to share one of theirs. But that's the back seat in the Veloster, and it's not too shabby, to be honest. I'm going to pop the hood. We can take a look at the performance element of the Hyundai Veloster N. This is the chalk white version of this car, by the way. There is a baby blue color that goes with some of the baby blue accents in the interior. There's a red, and if you get the red, these accents aren't red, they're black. And then there's a black model. That's a pretty heavy hood. Just notice that. And you do have to use the magic wand here. You don't have hydraulics. Once you pop that, you can take a peek at the 2.0 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. There are two flavors to the Veloster N. As standard, you have 250 horsepower, but if you go for the performance pack, which includes a few different bits, including an electronically limited slip differential and those 19-inch wheels, the slightly bigger brakes, and I think there's a different drive mode for the performance pack. I gotta check on that. But if you go for the performance pack, you're going to get 275 horsepower, 25 more than standard. 260 pound-feet of torque is across the range. If you want standard or performance pack, you're still getting 260. 6-speed manual is the only gearbox available in the Veloster N. Kudos to you, Hyundai N Performance. I really dig that choice. You're saying this is a fun-to-drive vehicle over how quick it's going to be on the track. You can still have fun, you can still do very well on the track with a manual, but mostly you're filtering out the people who just want a sporty looking car. They have to be able to drive a manual transmission, and this is a pretty good gearbox, as I will talk about on the on-track driving portion video. What other hardware we have going on here? Brake-based torque vectoring system, that's standard on the car. Electronically limited slip differential, I mentioned, that's part of the performance pack. There are a few different drive modes and 3 different modes for the electronic stability control system. There is normal, sport, and off. There's also rev matching. So if you're kind of working on your heel toe and maybe you don't have it down yet, but you still want that blip of the throttle so it has a smooth transition as you're getting down, slowing your speed before a corner, you want that smooth transition, it will auto rev match for you. You can, of course, turn it off if you want to just do your own heel toe downshifts. And the drive modes are pretty good. I noticed that the stability control system wasn't invasive at all on the track. I kept it on the whole time, which is not something I usually do, especially on a front drive car, but it does a great job of keeping the brake-based torque vectoring system. It detects when there's lean in the car, and it doesn't just fidget and get all worried when you are pushing the car a little bit, but it keeps you from understeering along with that limited slip diff. It just keeps you carving through the corner, not sliding or not having slip. So that is the hardware for the turbo, for the N performance model, and it's a good bit more than the regular car, 200 horsepower or so in the turbo R spec. So this one can have 75 horsepower more with the performance pack. That is good stuff. Let's take a look at the front cockpit. Other bits to the N performance model is a unique shifter. It has shorter throws and a cleaner feel to when you're entering the gate and a notch when you're actually in the gear. These seats have more bolstering to them, so they really feel good on the track. They don't look exceptional, especially in this fabric-y material, but they do support you in the corner, and that's more important than looks, in my opinion. You've got some N badging down there. The gear shifter itself has a nice N design to it and the shift pattern up there. These blue buttons are for the drive mode, and then for the stability control system, you can choose between which ones you want, and that's going to change up the shift timing, it's going to change up the steering weight, and a few other things. So that is the cockpit to the car. I will turn it on for you and rev it up a couple times, but before I do, I'll just mention that it has an 8-inch infotainment system as standard, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto as standard, Bluetooth, all that good stuff, a couple USB ports. It's a really well set up cabin, if not a little bit plain. Unlike the GTI, which has some higher quality materials all over, this has a good look to it, but there's not much color apart from the blue seat belts. There's just not much color going on. Nothing to keep you excited every time you hop into the car. I wish there was a little more aesthetic flair to the cabin, but that's that. I'm gonna rev it a couple times so you can hear what that exhaust sounds like. Sounds pretty darn good. I'm gonna put it in sport mode, N mode, and then Phil's gonna jump back there to hear the exhaust. Wasn't giving me the pops that I liked before, the overrun. I was getting that before when I rev it, and it sounds really neat, so I'm bummed that I couldn't show you that. But this is the Hyundai Veloster N. It is going to start at just under 28,000 bucks, they say, and that includes destination. If you get the performance pack, that's going to be just under 30, and I think that's an excellent value proposition. As you can see, I'm stumbling because I'm getting so excited about this car. I already drove it on track. I know it's excellent. I think the value's there. I think the look is there. I really hope people go buy this thing because Hyundai has done a great job. They brought the right people into N Performance to set it up properly, and I'm really just super impressed with this vehicle. This might be my next hot hatchback.